If your legs feel heavy when you wake up and your feet stay cold no matter what you do, your circulation is not delivering enough blood to your lower body. Every day that continues, your leg muscles and nerves are getting less oxygen than they need. These 5 seeds eaten consistently every day have been shown in research to directly improve blood flow to your legs and feet. Number 5. Chia seeds. You have probably heard of chia seeds for digestion or fiber. What almost nobody talks about is what they do specifically for the blood flow in your legs and why that matters more after 60 than at any other point in your life. The connection is real and the research behind it is solid, but it is not the angle that usually gets mentioned when people talk about chia seeds. Chia seeds are one of the richest plant sources of omega-3 fatty acids available, and the connection between omega-3s and leg circulation is more direct than you might realize. To reach your feet and lower legs, blood has to travel through increasingly narrow blood vessels called capillaries. The red blood cells carrying oxygen through those tiny vessels need to be flexible enough to squeeze through without getting stuck or clumping together. When red blood cells become stiff and rigid, that process becomes harder and your legs and feet end up with less oxygen than they need. The omega-3 fatty acids in chia seeds directly improve the flexibility of red blood cell membranes. Research has shown that regular omega-3 intake keeps red blood cells softer and more pliable, which allows them to move more efficiently through narrow capillaries. That improved efficiency is felt as warmer feet, less heaviness in the legs, and better stamina when walking. You are not changing the blood vessels themselves. You are changing the quality of the blood moving through them, which is a different and equally important approach. Chia seeds also contain quercetin, a natural plant compound that research has linked to blood vessel health. Quercetin helps reduce excessive platelet clumping, which is when blood cells start sticking together more than they should. When that stickiness increases, blood does not flow as smoothly through the vessels in your lower body, and the legs are usually the first place you feel that as heaviness and fatigue. After 60, blood vessels naturally become less flexible, and the smooth muscle in vessel walls loses some of its ability to relax and widen on demand. That stiffening combined with red blood cells that are less flexible than they used to be creates a compounding effect that progressively reduces the blood flow reaching your legs and feet. Chia seeds address both of those problems at the same time. If you notice your legs feel heavier after sitting for a while, or that your feet take a long time to warm up in the morning, reduced capillary blood flow is very likely contributing to both of those things. The omega-3s in chia seeds start improving that at the cellular level within weeks of consistent daily use. Mix 2 tablespoons of chia seeds into water and let them sit for 15 minutes until they form a gel. Add that gel to your morning yogurt, oatmeal, or smoothie. You can also stir dry chia seeds into any liquid-based meal. Aim for 2 tablespoons daily and make sure you drink enough water alongside them, as they absorb liquid and need adequate hydration to work properly. Number 4 is something you might have been snacking on without realizing it was doing something remarkable for your circulation. Number 4, pumpkin seeds. Most people eat pumpkin seeds as a snack and think nothing more of it. But pumpkin seeds contain a specific combination of nutrients that directly supports the mechanism your body uses to keep blood flowing freely to your legs and feet. That mechanism is nitric oxide production, and after 60, it is one of the things that declines most significantly without you probably realizing it is even happening. Nitric oxide is a compound your blood vessels produce naturally that signals the smooth muscle in vessel walls to relax and widen. When blood vessels widen, blood flows through them more easily and with less resistance. That widening is what keeps your legs warm and your feet from going numb. When nitric oxide levels drop, blood vessels stay tighter than they should and the blood flow to your extremities suffers. The problem is this decline happens so gradually that you adjust to it without recognizing that what you are feeling is not just aging, but something that can be addressed. Pumpkin seeds are rich in L-arginine, which is an amino acid your body uses as a direct building block for nitric oxide production. When you eat pumpkin seeds regularly, you are giving your body the raw material it needs to produce more of the compound that keeps your blood vessels open and relaxed. Research has found that L-arginine supplementation improves blood flow in people with peripheral arterial disease, which is the medical term for poor circulation in the legs. Pumpkin seeds are also packed with magnesium and zinc. Magnesium helps blood vessel walls stay relaxed and flexible rather than tight and constricted. Zinc supports the health of the endothelium, which is the delicate inner lining of blood vessels that regulates how well blood flows through them. When the endothelium is healthy, it produces nitric oxide efficiently. When it is damaged or inflamed, that production drops and circulation suffers. Having adequate zinc is one of the things that keeps that inner lining functioning the way it should. After 60, nitric oxide production declines naturally as part of aging. The endothelium becomes less responsive, and the blood vessels in your legs and feet are the ones that feel it first because they are the furthest from your heart. Pumpkin seeds address that decline by supporting both the production and the environment in which nitric oxide does its work. If your feet feel cold, even when the rest of your body is warm, that is a very specific sign that blood is not reaching your extremities efficiently. The vessels in your feet are the narrowest and the most dependent on adequate nitric oxide levels to stay open. Pumpkin seeds address that exact mechanism by giving your body the nutrients it needs to keep those vessels relaxed and responsive. Eat a small handful of raw unsalted pumpkin seeds daily. Raw is important because heat reduces the L-arginine content. Sprinkle them on salads, oatmeal, or yogurt. You can also add them to soups or eat them as a standalone snack. Consistency matters far more than the amount, so a small daily handful eaten every day is more effective than a larger amount eaten occasionally. What comes next on this list works on a completely different but equally important part of the circulation problem. And if you have ever noticed your legs swelling or feeling tight after sitting for a long time, this one is especially relevant to you. Number 3. Grape seeds. Grape seeds are one of the most underrated foods for leg circulation, and the reason you have probably never thought about them is simply because we throw them away. But the compound concentrated in grape seeds has some of the most specific research on leg blood flow and swelling of anything on this list. If you have been buying seedless grapes your whole life, you have been throwing away one of the most valuable parts. Grape seeds are exceptionally rich in proanthocyanidins, which are a type of flavonoid that has been extensively studied for vascular health. What makes proanthocyanidins particularly relevant for leg circulation is that they specifically protect the walls of the small blood vessels in your legs from damage and help maintain their structural integrity. When those vessel walls weaken, fluid leaks out into surrounding tissue, and you feel it as swelling, heaviness, and that tight, uncomfortable feeling in your calves and ankles. Research published by WebMD and supported by multiple clinical studies found that grapeseed extract significantly reduces leg swelling during long periods of sitting. The proanthocyanidins in grape seeds protect the lining of blood vessels from damage and improve the tone of the vessel walls, which means blood moves through your legs more efficiently and fluid stays where it belongs inside the vessels, rather than leaking into the surrounding tissue. That is a very specific and meaningful benefit for anyone who spends a significant portion of their day sitting. Grapeseed extract also lowers blood pressure by protecting the endothelium and reducing oxidative stress in blood vessel walls. A study of adults with elevated blood pressure found that grapeseed extract produced meaningful reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. For the circulation in your legs, that blood pressure reduction translates directly into less resistance in the blood vessels and more efficient delivery of oxygen to your muscles and tissues. After 60, the walls of the small blood vessels in your legs have been under years of pressure from blood flow, inflammation, and oxidative stress. That cumulative damage makes the vessels less efficient and more prone to leaking fluid into surrounding tissue. You might notice it most after a long day on your feet or after a long flight or car journey when the swelling and heaviness is hard to ignore. Grape seeds address that structural damage at the root level rather than just managing the symptoms. If you spend a lot of time sitting and your legs feel heavy or swollen by the end of the day, grapeseed extract specifically addresses the vessel wall weakness that allows that fluid accumulation to happen. It is one of the most targeted things you can eat for that specific problem. The easiest way to consume grape seeds consistently is through grapeseed extract capsules available at health food stores. If you eat grapes with seeds, chewing them releases the beneficial compounds directly. Aim for consistency over quantity and give it at least 4 to 6 weeks before evaluating whether you notice a difference in your leg comfort and circulation. The next seed has been studied for something that goes even deeper than vessel walls. It affects the blood itself and how well it moves through your entire circulatory system, including the vessels in your legs. Number 2. Pomegranate seeds. Pomegranate seeds and pomegranate juice are among the most researched natural foods for vascular health, and the evidence for what they do specifically to blood flow and blood vessel function is genuinely impressive. And the reason it deserves the number 2 spot on this list is that it does something none of the others do quite as powerfully, which is protect the blood vessel walls in your legs from the inside at the structural level. Pomegranate is exceptionally rich in elagitannins, anthocyanins, and ellagic acid. These compounds work together to reduce oxidative stress in blood vessel walls, inhibit platelet aggregation, which is when blood cells clump together excessively, and support the production of nitric oxide. That combination means pomegranate is addressing blood flow from multiple angles simultaneously, rather than through a single mechanism. Research published in a comprehensive review of pomegranate's vascular effects found that regular pomegranate consumption reduces blood pressure, lessens atherosclerosis, which is the narrowing and stiffening of arteries, and improves endothelial function. The endothelium is the inner lining of blood vessels, and its health directly determines how efficiently blood flows through your legs. When the endothelium is damaged, blood vessels cannot dilate properly on demand, which is what makes legs feel heavy and cold. Pomegranate also reduces platelet aggregation, which is the tendency of blood cells to stick together. When blood becomes stickier, it does not flow as smoothly through the narrow vessels in your legs and feet. The polyphenols in pomegranate help keep blood flowing at the consistency it needs to reach your extremities efficiently. And unlike many natural remedies where the research is limited, the evidence for pomegranate's effect on vascular health has been replicated across multiple independent studies in different populations. After 60 years of inflammation, high blood pressure, and oxidative stress have gradually damaged the endothelium in your leg blood vessels. That damage accumulates silently over decades and shows up as the heavy cold legs you feel every morning. You are not imagining it, and it is not just aging. It is the cumulative result of years of vascular stress that pomegranate directly targets through its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds. Eat the seeds of half a pomegranate daily, or drink 250 milliliters of pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice. If you use juice, make sure it is 100% pomegranate, with no added sugar, as sweetened versions lose most of the vascular benefit. The seeds themselves are also excellent because they contain fiber that slows the absorption of the natural sugars while preserving the full polyphenol content. Now we come to number 1. The seed with the deepest and most consistent research for circulation and blood vessel health. And there is one specific thing about how you eat it that determines whether you get the full benefit or almost none at all. Number 1. Flax seeds. Flax seeds sit at number 1 because the body of research behind them for cardiovascular and circulatory health is larger and more consistent than any other seed on this list. And because of one preparation detail that you are very likely getting wrong, which means you could be eating flax seeds without getting anything meaningful from them. Getting that one detail right is what separates flax seeds actually working for your circulation from eating them and feeling no difference at all. Flax seeds contain 3 things that directly support blood flow to your legs. Alpha-linolenic acid, which is a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid, lignans, which are powerful antioxidant compounds, and soluble fiber that supports healthy blood pressure. Those 3 things working together address blood flow from the vessel wall level all the way down to how thick or thin the blood itself is. No other seed on this list works across all 3 of those levels simultaneously. The omega-3 fatty acids in flax seeds improve blood viscosity, which is essentially how thick and sticky your blood is. When blood is too thick, it moves more slowly through the narrow vessels in your legs and feet. The omega-3s help keep blood at the right consistency so it flows efficiently to your extremities, rather than sluggishly pooling in larger vessels and leaving your feet and lower legs starved of oxygen. If your feet are always cold, even after warming them up, that viscosity issue is very likely part of what is happening. The lignans in flax seeds reduce oxidative stress in blood vessel walls and have been shown in research to support healthier blood pressure and vessel flexibility. A 2024 meta-analysis of multiple randomized controlled trials found that flaxseed supplementation significantly reduced blood pressure in people with cardiovascular risk factors. A 2025 systematic review confirmed those findings, adding that flax seeds produced meaningful reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure consistently across different populations. For your legs, that blood pressure reduction matters because high blood pressure stiffens the blood vessels in your legs over time and makes it harder for blood to flow through them efficiently. Every reduction in blood pressure is a reduction in the daily stress those vessels are under and a step toward the warmer, lighter legs you remember having when you were younger. After 60, blood viscosity naturally increases slightly and blood vessels become stiffer and less responsive. Both of those changes reduce the efficiency of blood flow to your legs and feet. Flax seeds address both simultaneously, which is what makes them the #1 seed on this list for circulation specifically. And unlike some of the other items on this list, the research base behind flax seeds spans decades of consistent findings, not just a handful of recent studies. Now here is the part that most people miss. Whole flax seeds pass through your digestive system almost entirely intact. The outer shell is too tough for your body to break down, which means the omega-3s and lignans inside never get absorbed. You need to eat ground flax seeds for the nutrients to be available to your body. Grind them fresh at home using a small coffee grinder and store the ground seeds in the refrigerator to prevent the oils from going rancid. This one step makes the difference between flax seeds working and not working. Add 2 tablespoons of freshly ground flax seeds to your morning oatmeal, yogurt, or smoothie every day. You can also stir them into soup or mix them into any soft food. The flavor is mild and nutty, and most people find it easy to incorporate without changing the taste of what they are already eating. Give it at least 4 to 6 weeks of consistent daily use before evaluating whether your leg circulation and warmth have improved. Most people who stick with it past that point report that their feet feel warmer, their legs feel lighter when they walk, and the heaviness they used to feel in the morning has noticeably reduced. Those changes do not happen from a single serving. They happen from the daily habit repeated over weeks until your blood vessels have had enough consistent nutritional support to actually start functioning better. Now, we want to hear from you. Which of these 5 seeds are you going to start eating first? Or are you already eating any of them and noticing a difference in your legs? Tell us in the comments below. We read every single one. And one thing worth saying before we close. None of these seeds are going to transform your circulation overnight. The damage that has been building in your blood vessels has been accumulating for years, and the repair process takes time. But what research consistently shows is that consistent daily habits with the right foods produce real measurable improvements in blood vessel health and circulation over weeks and months. You are not too far gone. Your blood vessels still respond to what you put in your body. Every day you eat one of these seeds, consistently you are giving your circulation what it needs to start working better. Start with one. Whichever feels most accessible to you. Add it to something you already eat every morning, so it becomes automatic. And then add another one over the following weeks. You do not need to eat all 5 at once. Consistency with 1 or 2 done every day is more valuable than eating all 5 occasionally. If you found this helpful, please give this video a like and subscribe so you never miss what we cover next. Thanks for watching.